We'll have a day with His Excellency. We have already agreed on the day whereby we'll have those discussions. We have a very critical bill on the floor of the House, the NHIF bill. And we are going to conclude today that we will give our people that help, that insurance. So that's exactly where we are headed to. So we say that we want to go and do our cardinal duty as legislators. So without much ado, I want to say that we have members of parliament. Of course, there are some who have already stepped out. We have Honorable Peter Kimani, the MP for Madia. Begin Makofi. Honorable Duarte Gobi, the MP for Katanga. Honorable Wajiko Kibe, the MP for Gatundu North. Honorable Jane Jiro was there. I don't know where she is now. From Embu.
Let's give her a clap.
Let's give her a clap. Which is one of Honorable Ihenya Dirangu, who is our host here. Honorable Ruth Moneki was also here, but I think she has also ran to the house. Here for coffee. We also have Honorable Geshoke Mugambi, the MP for 5. We also have Honorable Kareri Jam. Yule alipita lakini kura haikufikia vizuri. He's our guy. Then we have Honorable Peter Wero from Mandela. Muliona karatina jana vile ilikuwa. And then we also have our newest senator, IG Gogi. Where is our newest senator? Wapi kijana? Oh, he's here. And then we have Honorable Wero, also from Dagoretti. We also have Honorable Junet Mohammed. Kiboko yao tukiwa naye kule bunge. We also make sure that we also go together. We Honorable Maoka Maore kutoka Igembe, huyu wako hapa. Tutampatia nafasi asalimiane on behalf of the Honorable Masega Kuya mic ingine. Honorable Masega Kuya, the MP for Kasarani, we go also with her here. Yes, you can imagine yesterday when we started the journey with His Excellency the Prime Minister. I was the only member of parliament in Narumono. That was the second stop. When we went to the 7th stop, we were 8 members of parliament. Today we are 13 who came here. You can only imagine what will happen when we have the meeting with His Excellency the Prime Minister. You can only imagine. You started climbing the mountain yesterday. Ordinarily, it takes 7 days to climb the mountain. Yesterday, you started and you went halfway. You can imagine the mountain that is climbed with 7 days, he did half with 1 day. You can imagine when he comes the next time, he will be at the peak. Oya meki machache, tunaomba tu, tukibie bunge, we will have our day as politicians.
Najua Katarina akipata microphone ya kubuka ke protocol. Deputy Chief Whip in National Assembly, his boss. So ningesalimiana on behalf of all of them. Niseme baba uko karibu pande hii ya mountain na pande ile ingine wakati utakuja na tulimalizana hapa, hatutaki kufanya speeches. Ni kusema tu tuliona the president was complaining when we were in Bomas about having a baton to hand over for the race. And with that baton, whoever was to pick it, alianza kupotea the different direction. Tunakukaribisha baba from 2019. You have been waiting for this baton. Chukua, asante.
Thank you very much, our elected members of parliament. We love you. You are our representatives. You speak on our behalf. You vote on our behalf. And we want to thank you for that responsibility you accepted to handle on our behalf. So we appreciate you. So you live at your own leisure. So without much ado then, Your Excellency the Prime Minister, Prime Minister, our first speaker is a young man called Kimani Wanduthi. Kimani is the national chairman of the Border Association, and he comes from Nyandarua. So Kimani, okay. 2 minutes, Kimani, maximum 3.
His Excellency, former Prime Minister, magovernors, ma-CAS, wabunge na wanabiashara. Habari zenu. Habari zenu tena. Mimi naitwa Kimani wa Nduthi. Excellency Prime Minister, Nduthi ni bodaboda. Kwa sababu inaweza kosa kueleweka ni nini. Bodaboda mimi naongea kama Mount Kenya kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe nimetoka Mount Kenya, area inaitwa Gano kwa Governor Kimemia. Kwa hivyo nashukuru sana na media mchukue sana. Sijaiona mwana bodaboda amefungua kuongea mbele ya kamati kubwa kama hii. Hepa. Thank you very much kwa sababu hiyo inaonyesha bodaboda wametambuliwa. Bodaboda peke yake Mount Kenya tuko almost 450,000. Ambao kwa watu wa bodaboda inakunywaga mafuta karibu lita 10. Kwa hizo pikipiki zote wanakunywaga lita 10 kwa kila bodaboda. Ukiangalia ile pesa wananunua kwa mafuta saa hii ni almost 135. Unaona kwa zile pesa ina circulate within Mount Kenya kwa bodaboda, ambao bodaboda Prime Minister ndio siafu. Kwa sababu bodaboda wako kona yote ya vitongoji. Mimi najua hapa hakuna mtu ambaye hajui bodaboda. Lazima either uko na mtu wa bodaboda ama kuna familia inajua bodaboda. Bodaboda Prime Minister ziko na challenge. Na bodaboda Prime Minister kuna challenge mingi sana na uzuri Prime Minister utanipata Kisumu. Ukienda Kisumu inaitwa ODM. Kwa sababu wale vijana ni marafiki zangu na ukienda Siaya kwa mheshimiwa Orengo hata huko naitwa ODM. Kure natabulika hata kuliko kwetu Kikuyuni. Kwa sababu kitu yoyote ya bodaboda ikitokea, mimi ni wa kwanza kupeleka huko. Hizo pikipiki mnaona watu wa bodaboda wananunua huko kwa pesa kidogo kidogo, ni mimi niwapelekea ama Mastercard. Tuna challenge sana bwana mheshimiwa Prime Minister, ambao sana inatokeaga kwa kwanza wabunge vile mnaelekea huko, mambo ya NHIF is a challenge. Watu wetu wa bodaboda wanaumia sana wakipata ajali. Kwa hivyo hiyo bill ya NHIF tafadhali edeni muipeleke na ipite kwa sababu watu wetu wanaumia sana. Kuna challenge nyingine although kulitengenezwa task force ambao mimi niko hiyo member ambao tunatengeneza mikakati ya management ya bodaboda. Lakini challenge ile kubwa tuko naye ni sako, hakuna sako ambao imesimama. Lakini najua ile Prime Minister ukiingia utatutengenezea sako whereby watu wetu wanaweza enda wanachukua pesa kidogo huko, pesa ambao haina interest mingi ili na waanza kwa sababu watu wengi karibu 75% ya watu wa bodaboda si wenye pikipiki. Wao ni kupewa, wanapewa pikipiki, wanalipa kitu kidogo. So tukitengenezewa sako bwana Prime Minister, hiyo sako itasaidia tuinue hadhi ya hao vijana. Bodaboda tu ndio ile sekta. Either polisi, askari, retiree, director wote majioni yake kwa bodaboda. Ni kweli ama ni uongo? Kila mtu saa hii anakimbia kwa bodaboda kwa sababu hiyo tu ndio ile na pesa kidogo. Kwa hivyo bwana Prime Minister, kuna issue ya training. Training ile bodaboda wanaenda go training, ile training imewekwa ni ya gari. Lakini hiyo training ya gari bado ndio tunaenda kwa bodaboda. Unakuta hata wakati tunalipishwa tu kama gari. Kwa hivyo hakuna kipengele ya kuonyesha hii ni miguu mbili. Na issue ya insurance bado tuko na shida kubwa sana. Kwa sababu watu wa bodaboda kulipwa accident ki happen. Na I'm sorry Prime Minister. Ukiona watu wa bodaboda sana wamejitokeza wakati ajali imetokea, sana inakuwa ni kwa sababu hata wakienda kule mbele dakika ya mwisho hiyo kesi inapotelea, hawalipangwi. Kwa hivyo ningeomba kwa insurance kuwe na act ambao ina specify policy ya watu wa bodaboda. Alafu tu introduce shule ambao itasaidia watu wa bodaboda. Kwa sababu wengi wao wanajua kuendesha pikipiki kwa muda mrefu sana. Lakini shida ni wakienda shule wanaambiagwa lipeni kama mtu hajai shule. Kwa hivyo kama tunaweza kuwa na mikakati ambao kwa sababu anajua kuendesha muda yake inapungua, hiyo inaweza kuwa usaidizi kwa bwana Prime Minister. Mimi nilikuwa nimepewa dakika 5 lakini sijui ningemaliza dakika 3 niko na patron wangu ambaye ataongea dakika nyingine 2. Asante sana bwana Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much Kimani. Tumpigie makofi. This is the bodaboda patron. the patron of the association. So we want to hand on what Kimani has said.
Yes, Your Excellency. I think it's good to also put the national perspective, Your Excellency. Kimani has given the regional Mount Kenya perspective, but I can tell you, some people are wondering, and I can see my friend Peter Kenneth and others wondering why I'm the patron. Because the numbers make sense. Because as you've heard, if there are 5.2 million border in the country, then those are numbers that might excite anybody who is looking for positions in this country. But Your Excellency, the biggest problem that the borders have faced is ruthless handling by the police. They are criminalized before they commit a crime. They are dealt with so ruthlessly without regarding that any one day, if you look at 5.2 million borders, they consume fuel at 10 liters per border, 7 million shillings worth of fuel. And in a year, they are upwards of 2.5 trillion in fuel. So in terms of contribution to the national development, in terms of national economy, they are an important role. They sit at the bottom of the pyramid. And at the bottom is where the strength is. It is these people who should be supported in whichever way. If you look at the manufacturing or assembly of borders, that should not be imported by Indians and Chinese. It should be a preserve of the border community so that they have a chain where they assemble at low costs and pass it on. I know there will be a lot of speakers, but Mr. Prime Minister, I would like to say this. When an item is very good, they say it has been well engineered. When an item is fake or false, they say it has been doctored. Tafakari hayo. You're an engineer. Tafakari hayo. Thank you very much. My name is James Moreu, and I sit as the patron of the United Borders Association, a place where I enjoy helping and working with these people, and I look forward to supporting you in any way and supporting this cause because it's a cause for this country. 5.2 million people cannot be ignored. Thank you very much.
Let's give one Moreu and Kimani a better clap. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the next speaker is Msme Karanja. Msme is the CEO for an association of micro, small, and medium enterprises. As enterprises, they have their own association. So he is the chief executive of that association. So we want to invite you, Karanja, please. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, the governors, members of parliament, traders. Good afternoon. I would like to take this opportunity and recognize the president of MSME Alliance of Kenya, Mr. Ben Mutahi, kindly. He's my boss. He's the president of MSME Alliance of Kenya. And we also have some traders who came with us. We also have Apostle Teresia Jenga, who is the Mutumba chairlady, Mutumba Association of Kenya. We have Carol Nyambura, who is the chairlady of Marikiti Market.
Please let them stand up so that we recognize.
Okay. Carol Nyambura.
We are live on television.
Yes, Carol Nyambura is there. Asante. She is the chairlady of Marikiti Market. Do we have Apostle Teresia Jenga, who is the chairlady of Mutumba Association of Kenya? She was supposed to be here. And we also have Mr. Munene, also the Boda Association of Nairobi. Mr. Munene, where are you? Yes, okay. And lastly but not least, we have the chairman of Mudhurwa Market. The chairman of Mudhurwa Market, where are you? He's there. Thank you very much. Allow me to just highlight a few challenges that we have, though we have so many challenges. But allow me just to highlight a few challenges. And one of the challenges that we have, Your Excellency, you remember about 2 weeks ago you came to our offices and we were able to have a conversation with you on the same. we have an influx of cheap and fake Chinese goods. Many times the government has imekuwa ikituambia kwamba sisi wanabiashara ni sisi tunaleta hizo bidhaa gushi or things which are fake and counterfeit. But Your Excellency, we have seen Chinese have been able to come and inflate the market, and they have taken the whole value chain from the manufacturers to the retailers. Unaona Chinese mpaka anafanya hawking, anaenda na kuuzia simu kwa barabara, wengine wako karibu kuuza mahindi. Your Excellency, we should have policies which govern or which protect the local traders. Kwa sababu you cannot do the same in China. You cannot go as a trader in China and do the same. And so we need to be protected because they have taken the whole value chain and they have financial muscles which we have not been able to build. The other challenge that we have, Your Excellency, is that we have overzealous tax policies. We are in a regime whereby taxes, we do not have any consultation when taxes are being, policies are being formulated. And that is why we have haphazard tax policies. And I can give an example of one tax policy ambayo iliumiza sana wanabiashara. It was the footwear policy, the East African Common Tariff, which skyrocketed the tax from 2 million to 6 million per 40-foot container in just a week when it was implemented. And in the East African Africa countries, we are the only country which has implemented that. Why have other countries not implemented? And so we need a predictable tax regime whereby we know exactly what we are paying, because predictability in business is very important. The other challenge that we have is with consolidation of goods. Your Excellency, you remember the President from 2017 and 2019, he gave us an amnesty. And that amnesty was able to release 1,000 containers belonging to small medium entrepreneurs. Watu wale walikuwa Wanyamakema, watu wale walikuwa Gekomba, and you had His Excellency the President was gracious enough, he heard our cry and he released 1,000 containers. With that, we also need a regime whereby we can be able to lower the taxes, what we call the benchmark, from what it is. Right now it's still too high, so that we can be able to continue being in business. And the other thing that His Excellency the President has done, he has opened an exclusive place ya consolidate cargo, which is called the bomber shed, where His Excellency the Prime Minister was with us 2 weeks ago, and he saw how cargo has been deconsolidated, and we are getting cargo which is near our businesses. And so that is a plus even to the business community. The other challenge that we have is the CRB listing. Your Excellency, we are looking at a point whereby, you are being devalued, your credit worthiness because of the CRB. Na unajua saizi biashara imeenda chini sana because of COVID. We are requesting an amnesty towards that, so that even when you go to financial institutions for help, we can be able to be assisted by the financial institutions, because once you are profiled as a person who has not been able to pay, na ni biashara yako ilianguka, you can't have that assistance financially. We also need an economic stimulus on the same, whereby we have seen the His Excellency the President giving us about 8 and 2 billion shillings, but we are requesting for 25 billion shillings. Why? To resuscitate and also to cushion small medium entrepreneurs. Right now we are resuscitating businesses kwa sababu zimeisha, kwa sababu hata watu wengine wamefunga. We want to resuscitate and also to cushion and salvage what is left. And so 25 billion shillings to start with, as we look at the KPIs which are going to be put in place by the government to see to it that these businesses are able to remain afloat. Lastly but not least, we are requesting that we lower the cost of production of the local goods. Your Excellency, when you look at the cottage industries have had a very punitive taxes. And you find that in these cottage industries, we do not have policies that govern. We have a lot of, let me say it, archaic policies. And these archaic policies, they govern the cottage industries. Ukiangalia China, they started making their small things in their balconies, toothpicks, earbuds, and the rest. For us, even to get a license, a small license, to be able to even to produce in your backyard, it calls for NEMA, it calls for cabs to come and stay and keep you afloat for 59 days. It calls for so many other things to be put in place, and it's very archaic. And so we are asking that the policies which have been put in place, they should be enhanced cottage industries, because it is the economy. We cannot be able to raise the economy by taxation, but only production. Lastly but not least, let us have a people-centered development plan, whereby the center of the policy formation should be the common mwananchi, the person in that lower cadre, because that is a person who is holding the economy on their shoulders. The mamamboga, the boda boda people, we are taxpayers. When you look at the projections of GDP projections, we contribute half of the GDP projection. If the projection is 6%, 3% is contributed by small medium entrepreneurs. So we do pay taxes. So we are asking kindly that let us have a people-centered policy or economic policy so that you can be able to resuscitate our economy. Asanteni sana and God bless you.
Thank you, Msme. Let's give him a bigger clap. I see that his chairman is here. Chairman, just bear with us. We'll ask you to talk to us on Friday. Okay? That's a commitment I've given you. Instead of Msme talking to us, you'll be the one to talk to us on Friday. And thank you for being here. Msme, thank you. That's really articulate. The growth of our economy really is in our MSMEs. That's where the growth is. And that's why we would want to emphasize, and this is the reason why we invited those people, so that they will be able to express themselves. So the next person that I'll call is Solomon Kuria. Solomon will talk on behalf of the youth. He is the youth leader from Mount Kenya region and also a member of the Jubilee Youth League. And Solomon is from Nyandarua County. Solomon, please.
Thank you so much. I think I like the signature of Baba. Haya. Simunaijua? I like that signature. Iwo inaamusha mtu hata kama umelala. Your Excellency, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Mount Kenya Foundation, Chairman Peter Monga and Vice Chair SK Macharia, our governors, and distinguished members of Mount Kenya region. Good afternoon. My name is Solomon Kuria, a youth leader from Mount Kenya, born and bred from the land of milk and honey, Nyandarua County. And before I continue, I would like to acknowledge, in Gikuyu we say, Modo atoga gari karea dhana. So if you don't acknowledge your age mates, you're going to have it after that. So all the young people, all the young leaders in the house, kindly be upstanding. Kindly. We have so many of them, as you can see. So many of them. Asanteni sana to get. And because I can see the vice chair is standing right next to me here, sababu nataka kunisukuma niende haraka. Right on, I would like to tell you, to begin by saying that just like Kenya it is, 75% of the population is young. That is not an exception in Mount Kenya. So we are that many, and therefore our problems are also many. But let me just start by acknowledging that we know, Baba, when you were saying you are not tosha in Mount Kenya, ama hauwezi, you still came here to our region and picked our sons and daughters and made them something. We know Shebesh, when she was young, you sent her to parliament. We know Mwaura, you sent him to parliament, even when we said no to you. So the things we are going to say here, we know now, you'll put them somewhere in your heart so that you acknowledge and fulfill them. One, the biggest elephant in the room is unemployment amongst young people, my peers. So we would like you to tell us your plan to handle that. And even as you handle it, I would like to guide you a little bit on what is the biggest elephant in the room. employment in this country has not been proportional. Look at the police force, look at the army, look at the allocation of slots in government departments. It is sometimes given per constituency. We would like you to look at that with regard to population, because sometimes our numbers betray us. I would like you to also consider this. We say the biggest treasure you can give to your children in Mount Kenya is education, because hakuna mashamba, iliisha. But now we are worried because help allocation has been reduced. If you look at the amount allocated today and the amount that was being allocated before, the numbers are low. Not forgetting that the bill in Parliament that was supposed to even reduce the interest failed at the committee level. So kindly address that. We need help increased, and by the way, it can be made a grant where you don't even have to pay that, or if you have to pay without interest. I think we are able to set aside some billions, and sometimes you have seen people stealing money that can fund a whole education ministry in this country. So make it a grant, give it to people, and have many joining in. Number 3, AGPO, another elephant in the room. We need an overhaul in that. We are seeing young people being allocated contracts at the national and the county level. It's okay to allocate me a contract, yes? But are you aware that I have a problem with financing? So you'd like AGPO to be attached with LPO financing and set aside a kitty for that. And we have actually discussed and agreed, out of the kitty we'll set for the whole country, we need 10 billion for LPO financing on government contracts to young people. Tax relief. You know, some of these things we were talking about them in the BBI. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to even mention BBI, but tax relief to businesses owned by young people. Yes. So, we would like young people who own businesses to be given tax reliefs, at least 4, 5, 6, or 7 years, until they are able to stand. I read the story of SK Masharia, and I've heard it from him. He traveled from here to America, I think, within 8 months. So now, help us make it easier. We don't need to travel all that or do other bigger things. You only need to give us tax relief. Kuna kitu ingine moja hapa, digital economy. I don't understand why today free Wi-Fi is not everywhere in the corner of this country. We should have ICT hubs in every village or in every ward, and Wi-Fi free. Money is in the digital world today. Any presidential candidate or any president who will bring that, he will have covered millions and millions of young people. Let me talk about CLB listing. And we have discussed this and said, why don't we have a limit on the amount? If you forfeit, you are listed. We have seen young people being listed for as low as 100 Kenya shillings. 100, 200. Why don't we have a capping for that? And we have agreed, by the way, to start a business for a young man, I will need at least 20, 30, or 50K. So if I have forfeited any amount above that, put me in that CRB. If I'm below that, my friend, I'm still struggling, I will pay it. So CLB should be put at 50K for the forfeiters. Decentralization of government services. Your Excellency, President Uhuru Kenyatta gave us Huduma centers for every county. We now need Huduma centers at the sub-county level, so that our people travel shorter distances to get government services. This one please kindly take note of it. Tax incentives to employers. There is no any graduate who should leave university or college and fail to get at least an attachment or paid internship. If we have a regime which organizes with the employers that if you employ graduates from these and these universities or these and these colleges, we are going to give you tax incentives. Someone like SK Macharia at Royal Media, if I go there, he is able to have as many interns as possible because the government gives him a tax relief. That is very important so that we can able to absorb our learners. Two last points. One, very important, and I will say this when I'm very sorry, that every home in Mount Kenya is struggling with at least 1 or 2 drunkards. That's a fact. And we don't have to run away from that. We need to say, what is the permanent solution to alcoholism in Mount Kenya? It is the manufacturers of cheap and illicit brews. So let us cut the problem from the head. Let us stop going down to the drinkers, to the alcoholists. Let us deal with the manufacturers of the poison. Baba, lastly, I need you to mainstream, these young people with government opportunities. Let's say, at least since I've been an adult, I have not seen a young minister, fully fledged minister. And now, at least for a start, out of 20 ministers provided for in the Constitution, give us only 4. Just 4. And in those 4, you'll be sure we are going to revolutionize. Because there's the language of the young people. When they don't see their own, they don't see themselves. But when they see their own, they see themselves. It is a mirror of them. And therefore, you'll have more easy time when you have warriors in the field than when you have injured warriors in the field. And I'm not saying the elderly are injured, no. But a young person, Jamba, will be able to move faster. Asanti. Raida. Nyasaye omedi dalo. Mangenyi modo imedi konyo pinywa. Asante sana.
Solomon, that's in Greek. Can you translate? Let's give Solomon a clap. These are the leaders of today, not even tomorrow.